This is Mags on Media and some brand news in brief now. The global fast food chain McDonald's has found a clever way to direct consumers to their eateries by only using its existing logo.
McDonald's is one of the most recognizable and consistent brands in the world. But everywhere you go, from major cities to small towns, you'll find signs directing you to the nearest McDonald's that are surprisingly inconsistent. So to create a new wayfinding system, we noticed that the directions were already right there in the logo. By cropping the golden arches into a directional path and reducing the visuals to only what's essential, we transformed an underutilized media space into a simple, unified design system, adaptable to any market around the world. The result was a series of wayfinding billboards that are both helpful and immediately recognizable, using only the brand's colors and a fraction of the logo.
And let's stay with the fast food industry. KFC in the United Kingdom finding itself in brand hell when it experienced a highly publicized chicken shortage due to an operational issue with a delivery provider. Now, competitor Burger King and others trying to leverage on the KFC crisis, but ultimately KFC managed to redeem itself thanks to their advertising agency Mother London, who took out a full-page ad in 2 major British newspapers, cleverly rearranging the brand's lettering to apologise to its many fans around the UK. Now, in recent years, the global meetings industry has begun to recognise Africa as a sought-after destination. The annual Meetings Africa exhibition showcases the continent's diverse offering of services and products to the industry, to professionals and to potential business partners from across the world. Joining me now is Chief Marketing Officer of Tourism SA, Margie Whitehouse. We can post-mortem the event, but we can also look at selling South Africa in what I think is an exciting new political climate. A very warm welcome to you, Margie. Let's get to all of that in a moment, but let's start with Meetings Africa if we can. What does an event like this set out to achieve in terms of bringing people onto our shores?
So, Meetings Africa, created by Amanda Kotzenklappe, who heads up our convention bureau, it's a real brand, and it's the premier business events happening in the year on the continent, on the whole continent. So this year it was the 13th, and it brought together 300 exhibitors from over 13 African countries. And the interesting stat coming out of it, as you're calling this a post-mortem, is that with 6,400 meetings, a 30% increase on last year, business is happening. It's really happening, and business events is something that is a key driver of arrivals to this country.
So it's a key barometer of the economy as well, or the potential for the economy. What are delegates seeing here that perhaps they haven't seen previously?
So what they're seeing here is real thought leadership. It's interesting because the whole aura around business eventing is different to leisure, obviously. And what drives that is thought leadership. And what we get out of this country, coming with the cradle of humankind as the foundation of all mankind, is some sort of thought leadership and being able to lead in the world on a number of different areas that we choose to focus on.
How do you turn interest, though, into tangible opportunity?
That is the job of the people that are there meeting together and saying, how can they put this together? So that's exactly why the whole industry comes together. And that's why it's so important to have something like this, to have a Meetings Africa where there's that direct connectivity. You know, much as we love the internet and much as it gives us connectivity, there's nothing like face-to-face interaction to really drive business and sell what is, after all, going to be the tangible offering for us.
Gee, Margie, that's real old-school stuff, that. I mean, the technology is important, but that you know, let's be honest, a face-to-face encounter or some sort of engagement is going to obviously achieve more results, isn't it?
Jeremy, it's always the big debate is what's happening in the world of eventing, and do we need this face-to-face interaction? But it's something like the tourism industry, where it is all about face-to-face, it is such a critical part of actually driving success. Yeah, so we fundamentally believe in it.
So let's move from beyond Meetings Africa now to the brand of South Africa and how you're trying to market that opportunity. And I'm assuming, as I mentioned in my introduction, that given there's perhaps a more relaxed climate that we're starting to exist within at the moment, that we've come out of a great deal of difficult adversity politically, is this a destination which people are now starting to say, well, possibly I'll give it a chance again?
This is definitely a destination. This is a very beautiful country. This is the reason that we...
And that's your job. It's your job to say that. I mean, I understand
It's my privilege to say it rather than my job. So President Ramaphosa, in his exhilarating SONA address, gave us as an industry a very big challenge. In fact, not even a challenge, a task. And he said, go and double the number of jobs within the industry. So at 700,000 jobs, that's no mean feat, and we can only do that through real collaboration. So it's collaboration between business departments. You've got to remove some of the barriers, because that is as important as inspiring people to come here.
What barriers are you talking about?
So we're talking visas, we're talking airlift, we're talking general barriers that all destinations have. But the easier you are to get to as a destination, the easier it is to attract people to it. So it's collaboration between government departments, it's collaboration between the private and public sector. We've got to work together. And it's collaboration within the tourism industry in total to build a really sustainable, transformed, to be able to grow to that kind of job level.
Yet, Margie Whitehouse, you will still have naysayers, both externally and internally. How do you convince them that there is a different story to tell?
The spirit of optimism we're really picking up and reflecting right around the world. That South Africa has gone back into, you talking about this new kind of feeling. It's a spirit of optimism, and optimism sells really well. And we're really picking up the kind of positivity from the rest of the world about what our country has to offer. Because yes, we have beautiful mountains and that flat mountain down south. We have beautiful beaches, we have wonderful safaris, and we're renowned for that. But that spirit of optimism that our people reflect is ultimately what sells South Africa best.
What about the rest of Africa interlocking with what we're doing?
So we always, that's why Meetings Africa, for example, is for the whole of the African continent. Coming up is Africa's Travel Indaba. And a refreshed and a reinvigorated Africa's Travel Indaba, we are hoping, with Mr. Ramaphosa's message around Send Me. We're wanting the whole industry to get really behind that. And there, too, we showcase the whole of Africa. We don't see ourselves as being separated from Africa at all. It is a whole continent of an offering. And often when travellers are searching for where they're going to be going in Africa, they look at sub-Saharan Africa, they look at Africa in totality. So we're very much a part of the continent and proudly part of it.
Good story to tell. Thank you, Margie Whitehouse from Tourism SA. And that is our show for this week. Next one, a special interview with veteran journalist Evelyn Groenink and her explosive revelations in a book. It's entitled Incorruptible. Until then, goodbye to you and thank you for watching.